Hey y'all. Okay, I don't know about y'all, but I'm wanting something to eat that does not have anything to do with holiday food. Now I know y'all are a little bit behind me because we just did ours this week, so y'all may be over it by now and be ready to have a big huge meal by now. But y'all know how it is after you've been eating all that food, you just don't want nothing even have anything to do with it. So tonight I am going to throw us together a delicious, simple little dish that I threw together one night when my boys were little, and y'all, we loved it. You'll love it too. Let me show you. All right, so I've got my, I have ground chuck here. That's just what, I had to run to the store and grab some tonight, y'all. I was about out of my ground chuck in the freezer, or ground beef. I had one big pack, and I knew I didn't need that much, so I thought I need to get some anyway to stock up. So I grabbed this big old pack here. I'm going to use about maybe a pound or so. This looks really good. I'm telling you, the meat at that little grocery is just the best. I think we'll stop with that. That may be around about a pound, but this is almost 4 pounds of meat here in this package, 3.5 pounds at least. And I'll fix this up later and freeze it up. I'll just pop it in the fridge like this to do until I get a chance to fix it. But anyway, yeah, y'all know I did all that cooking, and we had all that food, and I tell you what, I thought I just want something different. So what I'm gonna make, y'all, is this is some onion powder. I'm gonna do my onion and garlic, my usual, y'all. This is a little meal that I threw together one night whenever my boys were growing up. It seems like that day I had worked a 12-hour shift, and I had cooked them some, I used to keep like that frozen stuff in the freezer, like chicken nuggets, chicken strips, you know, the pizzas, pizza rolls, just all that easy stuff where you could throw them together a meal real quick on those tired nights. Well, one night I made them some chicken nuggets and some corn, and they wanted macaroni and cheese. Well, I didn't have any macaroni and cheese. I had cheese, but I didn't have any pasta. Only thing I had was spaghetti pasta. And then I seen this box of this in the cabinet, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to use that pasta and make some macaroni and cheese with it. Pasta's pasta, right? And so I tossed the little stroganoff packet aside, and I thought I'll use that some other time for, you know, something else. Anyway, I used this pasta, you can see here, it's like this right here, and made them some macaroni and cheese. And Lord, you would have thought it's the best macaroni and cheese I ever did have. So then one night, however long later, I was putting something together again, and I was actually wanting to make like a cheesy chicken pasta dish. Well, I didn't have any chicken, or it seemed like what I had was frozen, but I had ground beef. So I found my little stroganoff packet that I had stashed aside. So I got this out, got my ground beef out, got some egg noodles out, got me some Velveeta cheese, some milk, and threw together this little recipe, y'all, and we loved it. I remember Kanan, I can hear him just like it was yesterday. He said, I don't know what this is, but we're going to have to make this again. I mean, he just loved it, and Braden did too. I did too. And you know, it's so simple. Basically, it's a mixture of your stroganoff and your cheeseburger hamburger helper, but it's homemade, so it makes it or semi-homemade, of course, so it makes it a little bit better. So we're not going to use this pasta. I'm just going to stash this back. But listen, you can buy the little packets of just the stroganoff if you don't want to buy this, but you're going to pay more for that one little packet of stroganoff seasoning than you will just the box of this. And then you have that pasta if you need it for something else, or you can use it for this. I like to use egg noodles, and I like to use more noodles than what you get in the box, okay? I know I'm talking fast, but I'm just trying to explain all this to you. But yeah, like the stroganoff packet that you get like in the seasoning section, it's like $1.98, I think. And then this little box of the whole thing is like $1.58. So I just picked this up again, and I thought, I'm going to make that, and I'm just going to use this packet. I'll toss this in the cabinet. You can always use noodles for something, right? So that's it, and then we're going to put this Velveeta cheese in there, and y'all, it is so good. I don't know what it is about it. Which I remember when I was young, and if I ever eat a hamburger helper, I would always lay me a slice of cheese over the top and melt it and make it cheesy anyway. So it's just really good, these flavors combined, and nothing fancy, y'all, but this is just what something I wanted tonight. I thought that sounds so good after having that big old meal, the good food, which we love, but you get to a point where you just feel like you want some, I guess, junk food, you could call it. I don't know. But anyway, this is what I'm making tonight, and I thought I'd share it with y'all. It's a little inexpensive meal. It's a one pot, which I'm going to boil my pasta separately, but I still will call this a one pot meal. I know some people won't, and they'll get after me, but to me, it's a one pot meal. So I got my water boiling over here, y'all. I put me a little bit of chicken bouillon in there, and oh yeah, I was going to say I was going to put me some butter, but I'm about out. But I forgot that I had this seasoned butter in there. So I'm going to put a little bit of that. Y'all, I hadn't even really been grocery shopping much since I cooked all of our holiday food. I just ran by there real quick today and grabbed my ground beef, and they had a few things on sale that I liked, so I grabbed that to stash in the freezer. But I'll have to do me a bigger shopping trip here in the next few days, and stock up on some stuff. But anyway, I'm just going to cook this ground beef. I'm going to get our egg noodles in here. This is what I'm using, just the egg noodles. And this is a 12-ounce bag. I think I'm going to do about 8 ounces because I really like a lot of pasta in this dish, which y'all know I love pasta anyway. But these noodles are so good with that good cheesy sauce on there and that good stroganoff flavor. I'm telling y'all. So anyway, I'm going to do about 8 ounces of these, cook my ground beef, and I'll come back and I'll show you how we're going to throw all this together. Okay, y'all, I have our ground beef drained. I was able to do the paper towel method because we had the ground chuck. I've got our pasta drained. Of course, I saved some of that pasta water. We're not going to need all this. But on the instructions on the box of the actual stuff here, it has you adding a little bit of water. I can't remember how much. Well, we're going to add pasta water instead of regular water. And then, of course, we're going to do our milk, okay? So let's stir our packet in. And I meant to tell y'all what's great about this, or I may have mentioned it, but you can make however much or little you want. And if you want to make more, I think even that little packet would still really flavor the whole dish. You got your cheese in there. Maybe just add you a little bit more salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder. I think it would go plenty. Even if you wanted to do about 2 pounds ground beef, I think that packet would still work just fine. The only thing, if you were to do about half of this recipe, I would probably cut back on the packet because of the sodium and that sort of stuff, okay? So I'm going to add in a little bit of our pasta water here, get this going. Let's see. We're going to do about half a cup. All right. So we're going to do about half a cup of that. Get this turned up so it can start boiling. And I have about 2 cups of milk here. And I was glad, y'all know I'm always glad whenever I can use my milk when I have it on hand, because I don't use it much, but I have to buy it sometimes for certain recipes, Okay. So that's 2 cups of milk, about half a cup of our pasta water. I'm going to pop a lid on this. Just let this hang out and simmer for a little bit. Let that seasoning cook all in that ground beef. And then I'll come back. We'll toss our cheese in. We'll put our pasta in. And I forgot to tell y'all, egg noodle. I know I tell y'all this every time, but I don't ever want someone new or different watching that may not be aware. But egg noodles cook really fast. And when we put them in here, we want them to kind of finish cooking and absorb that good cheese sauce that we're going to have in there whenever we put them in. So don't overcook them. Whenever I put mine in there, I gave them a good stir, and then, of course, I waited till the water was boiling, gave them a good stir, and then I only let them boil for just a few minutes, maybe like 3 minutes. Then I just turned the burner off, let them sit there in that good hot water for a minute, and then I drained them and hit them with cold water. Okay, that's it. they're probably even almost doing just that. They're probably almost close to done because they do not take long, especially these little fluffy ones like I had. But we want them to finish in this right here, so just don't overcook them, okay? You don't want to have mushy pasta. I know I tell y'all that all the time. And y'all, if my if my mouth looks a little bit dark tonight, I am having me a little bit of Cabernet. This, I don't drink this very often. Normally, if I have wine, I do Chardonnay. But I'm having this tonight, and I mean, I barely sip it. When I say sip it, I'm talking about I've had this in here for I don't know how long, because I just barely sip it. But it's just relaxing, and I enjoy to have a glass while I'm cooking. And so yeah, so that's what I'm saying. If my mouth looks a little dark, you know, it kind of stains up your teeth a little bit. And I keep my water over here because it makes me so thirsty. It just always makes me so thirsty. I have to have my water. Anyway, y'all, enough yakking. I am going to pop the lid on this, let this just sit here and simmer for a few minutes, and I'll come back and we'll put the rest of our stuff in. Okay, y'all, some of our liquid has evaporated. This is cooked down really nice, and so now we're going to add our cheese in, and I'm going to add in a little bit of pepper. I'm not going to do any salt. I seasoned my egg noodles with a little bit of garlic salt. That's it. I didn't add any other seasons on them tonight. So I'm not going to add any salt in here. And of course that packet has a little bit of salt too, okay? So now we're going, and oh yeah, and I have 8 ounces of cheese here. 8 ounces of Velveeta. You can also get those little packages. You know, we talked about that last time I used Velveeta. I haven't used them. I have one, and I've yet to use it. I forget about it until I'm talking about it like this right now. But everybody says they work really well. They're a lot, I mean, they seem to be inexpensive. You could also buy you a package of like sliced sandwich cheese. Open all them packets up, throw it in here. Y'all, you can do it so many different ways. Y'all know I usually just buy the bigger block and keep it on hand, because I will make so many things out of it, and I still will. Like my block that I bought, I've made a big old batch of our macaroni and cheese. I've made this, and I still have about half a block left. So it does go a long way. But I do recommend using Velveeta. I know some of you don't like it. You can try another cheese. I don't know how it'll turn out. The other cheeses just do not melt and get as creamy as the Velveeta does. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to just let this melt down a little bit. I got it turned way down now. Let that cheese slowly melt. I'll probably pop the lid back on. I had took it off to kind of let it evaporate a little bit. And then we're going to toss our pasta in. And don't y'all worry, that pasta will soak up every bit of this liquid. Y'all see what I'm talking about. Okay? All right, I'll be back in a few minutes. All right, y'all, our cheese is melted. That did not take no time. I could have probably just went ahead and threw these in at the same time. But I have 8 ounces of egg noodles here. Like I said, I did season them a little bit with some garlic salt. Now, that's optional. You don't have to. You don't have to season them with anything. But since I didn't add any salt to my liquid, I thought, well, I'll just season the noodles up a little bit. Kind of makes up for that rinse that I always give them to cool them off, and it rinses that salt off that I put in the water. But y'all see now what I'm talking about, how that liquid goes so quick, and it will even more, because we're going to let this sit here, and that pasta will just absorb all that good stuff. I always save out a little bit of our pasta water in case it gets too dry and we need to add a little bit more, but I think we're going to be good. It looks so good. And if you'll notice, I have probably more pasta than I have ground beef, but that's just the way that I like it, okay? You can do however much or little you want with this. That's why I'd rather do my own pasta, because I like to add more than they give you that's in the little boxes. But y'all, look at this. It smells so good. It is so good. I mean, I know y'all are thinking, well, you're just showing us a hamburger helper recipe, but no, this is different with these ingredients mixed together. I promise you. It's easy, and that's just what I wanted tonight. There's just nothing else that sounded good to me but this right here, and I promise you, if y'all make it, y'all will love it too. Your kids will too. There's no veggies, there's no onions, there's no prep work involved in it, so that makes it even better. But I'm just going to let this sit here on a very low temperature, let that pasta get back good and hot, and completely finish cooking, and we'll come back and we'll taste it. I cannot wait. Okay, y'all, our little dish is done here. Let's see. So I just let it simmer for just a little bit, and then I just cut it off and just let it sit here and rest for a little bit. And look at it. I ended up not adding any more of our pasta water. I feel like this is just a great texture. It's a little creamy. It is perfect. Now, one thing that I thought of while I was waiting on this to get ready to, get good hot, and while it was sitting here resting, I was thinking there was something else that I used to put in here sometimes, not every time, and there was. I just thought of it a second ago. I used to, whenever after I drained the ground beef and I put in that stroganoff packet, seems like I used to put in a beef bouillon cube. And then sometimes, depending on how much I was making, I would just do half. But if you make more of this, you definitely would want to do that. It does add a lot of great flavor. Just leave out your salt, and add you a beef bouillon. That really adds a lot of flavor to it, which, this is going to be great without it, I have no doubt. But because I don't think I did it every time, but it's really good with it. So I want y'all to do that if you try it. The only thing I think this is going to could use is a little bit more cheese. I can tell by looking at it, but I wasn't going to get my cheese back out. I thought it'll be fine. I don't need all that cheese anyway. It was a little bit I did 8 ounces was my plan, but I think it was a little bit less because, on the package it says 4 and 4. Well, the 4 on this side where I had cut on it was a little bit cut into, so I think it wasn't a whole 8 ounces. But anyway, 8 to 10 ounces, that's all just on how cheesy you want it to be. And like I said, you can tell I have a lot more pasta than I have ground beef. That's how I like it. You do it however you want, but throw you a beef bouillon cube in there. I remember now that was one of the things that helped give it a lot of good flavor, along with that stroganoff packet. I love this, y'all. Y'all know I do. Y'all know I love my pasta, but goodness gracious. This just takes me back to years ago. Like I said, I made it that night and we all just had a fit over it. It don't taste nothing like just the original box hamburger helper. I'm telling you, it just tastes totally different. We used to call it our gourmet hamburger helper. It was just a little joke that we used to make, me and the boys. It was always fun. That's delicious, y'all, and very kid friendly, very inexpensive. You can make a ton. It heats up really well. I really want y'all to try it. You may have already done something like this or similar, because it's not like it's anything that is that uncommon. You know what I mean? Anyway, y'all, there's something else I need to talk to y'all about tonight, but I've already let this video go so long. I'm going to wait and do a separate little video to just tell you about that. That way, too, people that just come on here for a recipe don't have to listen to it if they don't want to. It's just this little group that I want to share with y'all. It's not nothing that costs anything. It's not anything you got to pay for or buy. Nothing. It's a benefit to help y'all. It's this thing that my friend is doing. No benefit to me. It's just something that you will, enjoy if it's something that you like, and I'll send you an invite to it. But anyway, I will tell more about it on the next video. Okay, I will see y'all next time. Bye bye.